Life was much different for me over a year ago. I'm a full-time internal medicine physician. I own 2 medical practices and have worked fairly hard over the last 10 years to build those practices. I have a beautiful wife, 3 amazing boys, and my daily grind was getting up at 4 o'clock every morning, working out, spending an hour of me time, spending another 2 hours administrative paperwork for my practice, and then going to see patients between the hours of 9 and 6, sometimes as late as 7 or 7:30, finishing up with another 2 hours of paperwork and then going home.
We never got to see him. He was always home at 11, 10 o'clock at night.
Somewhere along those 10 years, the excitement wore off, and I then became married to my job.
I would actually bring the kids to the office so that they could see their father, and that's just how we lived our lives.
When the boys were really young, I didn't get a chance to say goodnight to them or put them to bed. I still spent a lot of time with my kids, but it wasn't quality time. I coached 3 soccer teams, I coached baseball teams, I always made time for that, but I wasn't emotionally connected to my children because I was always worried about my practice, and I was worried about providing for my wife and my kids. On the outside, it looked like I had everything. We make good money, we live very comfortably, we built our dream home, we take vacations, we spend time with our kids on vacation, and it's a good life, but it wasn't the life that I envisioned when I got married and had children. I wanted to be that dad, that all-pro dad that did everything with their kids. I gotta tell you, on April 21st, I hit rock bottom emotionally and spiritually. I was completely disconnected from Pinky, from my kids, and I was going down a path that I just wasn't happy. I was ready to throw the towel in. Wanted to sell my practices. I was desperate to do anything to spend more time with my kids. Later that morning, I was still in a really bad mood. I was ran behind most of the afternoon and walked into exam room 7, and there were cards all over the exam room. There sitting on the exam table was Beth Caldwell.
My upline, Tommy and Curtis, always told me to share the opportunity and the service with my most sharpest people I knew. I decided that day that I was going to share with Dr. Phil. So I did. I put my cards around the exam room, and I put the Success at Home magazine out, and I put the DVD out. Dr. Phil walked in, did a double take, and said, "What's this?"
And she said she had something unbelievable to show me. And I was in such a bad frame of mind, even though I was praying for a change, that I didn't really give it its proper due. Thought the cards were cute, and I told Beth, listen, I'll take a look at it, and I'll let you know in a couple of days. Let me put it in a safe place in my office. And I did. The safest place I knew was the garbage. But something struck me when I was driving home that night. I said, why would Beth Caldwell present something to me that didn't make sense? She's a very successful business person, I know that. Why would she show me something if it wasn't worth value? So I made the second best decision in my life besides asking my wife to marry me. Went back and pulled that stuff out of the garbage, and I literally cried. And I called Pinky and I said, honey, I found something. I think it's what we've been praying for. It's simply a really amazing thing, and I think we need this in our life, and I think that's going to be the difference maker. I think it's going to allow me to do what I want to do with my life.
We were looking for time for him to spend more time with us. And no matter how much money you have, it doesn't really matter. If you don't have the time to spend it with your loved ones, then it all goes to nothing.
And that was a little over a year ago, April 27th, 2010, and our lives are not the same now, and they'll never be the same again. Send Out Cards has changed our lives in so many ways, and one of the best things for me is the freedom that it's given to Pinky and I. I'm free now to do a couple of things that I wasn't able to do before I was involved in Send Out Cards. Mainly spent more time with my wife and my children. It's allowed me the freedom to decide whether I want to work on Fridays, and I find that Fridays I'm in a much better mood, because if I'm working, it's because I want to work. It's not because I have to work. One of my dreams and goals in life was to give back to my college. And Pinky and I went to the same college. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to go on a full scholarship. And someone, somewhere down the line, paid for that scholarship, and it wasn't me. And what we've been able to do, because we're now involved in Send Out Cards, which we weren't able to do before with my medical practices, we were able to pledge $25,000 over the course of the next few years to fund a student center for St. Peter's College. And that's just going to be the start of many, because we have even bigger dreams than that. And that, I have to tell you, feels amazing. When we know that we're going to be able to affect the life of someone that is now coming into St. Peter's College the way that mine was affected, that is pretty cool stuff.